Welcome, everyone. As we transition from traditional network perimeters to modern identity-based perimeters, securing the devices that access our data is critical. Today, we are going to explore how to create, configure, and manage device identities in Microsoft Entra ID. Let's get started. Let's start with a fundamental question. What is a device identity? In Microsoft Entra ID, a device identity is an object, much like a user or a group. It gives us, as administrators, actionable information that we can use when making access or configuration decisions. Why do we need this? Because device identities are a core prerequisite for advanced security scenarios, such as enforcing device-based conditional access policies or managing endpoints with Microsoft Intune. To bring a device into our directory, we rely on three distinct methods: Microsoft Entra Registration, Microsoft Entra Join, and Microsoft Entra Hybrid Join. Throughout this training, we will break down each method so you know exactly when and how to apply them to your fleet. This flowchart visualizes the core architecture. At the top, we have Microsoft Entra ID, which houses our device identity objects. From there, the tree branches into our three provisioning methods. On the left, Microsoft Entra Registered is typically mapped to bring your own device, or BYOD, and mobile scenarios. In the middle, Microsoft Entra Joined is our target state for cloud-first, corporate-owned devices. And on the right, Microsoft Entra Hybrid Joined is utilized for corporate devices that still require a connection to traditional on-premises Active Directory. Each branch serves a very specific architectural need. Our first integration method is Microsoft Entra Registered Devices. The primary goal of this state, sometimes known as Workplace Joined, is to provide secure support for bring your own device, BYOD, or mobile device scenarios. In this state, a user signs into their Windows 10 or 11 device using their own local account or a personal Microsoft account. They do not log into the operating system itself with their corporate credentials. So, how do we secure them? When the user accesses a corporate application, they use their Microsoft Entra account. Microsoft Entra ID then evaluates the device's identity alongside conditional access policies to determine if the device is safe enough to access organizational resources. If administrators permit it, these devices can also be enrolled into an MDM like Intune for further compliance enforcement. Looking at this diagram, you can follow the user's journey. They start on their personal laptop or phone, signing into their local OS profile. But the moment they try to access a corporate app, Microsoft Entra ID intercepts the request. Entra ID checks the registered device identity and hands it off to conditional access. If the device is healthy and compliant, perhaps managed by an MDM, access to Microsoft 365 is granted. If it fails the checks, access is blocked. It provides a perfect balance of personal privacy and corporate security. Moving to the optimal state for corporate-owned hardware, Microsoft Entra Joined devices. These devices are joined exclusively to Microsoft Entra ID, meaning the user must sign in to the device using their organizational Microsoft Entra account. This method is enterprise-ready and suitable for organizations of any size. The massive benefit here is that it simplifies device provisioning. You can ship a laptop directly to an employee, and using Windows Autopilot or the out-of-box experience, they join it directly to Entra ID from their living room. Once joined, the user gets seamless single sign-on to your cloud apps. More impressively, if they are on the corporate network, Entra Joined devices can still maintain SSO access to legacy on-premises resources like file shares, without needing an Active Directory computer object. This diagram illustrates the streamlined cloud-first lifecycle. A new corporate device boots up and connects via Windows Autopilot or the standard OBE. It immediately performs a Microsoft Entra Join. The user then signs in securely with their corporate user principal name, or UPN. Under the hood, this triggers MDM auto-enrollment into Intune to push down security policies. Once authenticated, the user branches out to enjoy single sign-on to both cloud applications and, crucially, on-premises Active Directory resources. Many enterprise environments still have a massive footprint of traditional Active Directory domain services. For these scenarios, we use Microsoft Entra Hybrid Joined devices. This means the device is joined to your on-premises Active Directory, but it is also registered with Microsoft Entra ID. Why do this? It allows you to continue using your existing group policy objects and imaging tools, while unlocking cloud capabilities like device-based conditional access and Intune co-management. However, as a senior architect, you must plan for a critical constraint. Microsoft Entra Hybrid Joined devices require periodic network line of sight to your on-premises domain controllers. If your remote workers never connect to the VPN, scenarios like password changes or TPM resets will break. Therefore, hybrid join is often considered an interim step toward full Microsoft Entra join. Let's trace the hybrid topology. The physical device on the left performs a traditional domain join to your on-premises Active Directory. Then, Microsoft Entra Connect detects that computer object and synchronizes it up to the cloud. Entra ID then provisions a device identity. Notice the dotted line at the bottom. The device must maintain line of sight to that on-premises Active Directory to stay healthy. Once fully synced and registered, Microsoft Entra ID can apply conditional access policies and grant SSO to cloud resources. Let's go under the hood and look at the cryptographic mechanics of device registration, which is handled by the Azure Device Registration Service, or Azure DRS. When a device registers, it doesn't just pass a name. It generates two sets of cryptographic key pairs, a device key and a transport key. For maximum security against credential theft, these private keys are strictly bound to the Hardware Trusted Platform module, specifically TPM 2.0. The public keys are sent to Azure DRS. Azure DRS validates the request, creates the device object in Microsoft Entra ID, and sends back a unique device ID and a device certificate. The Windows client installs this certificate into its personal store. This hardware-bound trust is exactly how Microsoft Entra ID issues primary refresh tokens, or PRTs, enabling highly secure single sign-on without needing a password every time. This sequence diagram maps the exact cryptographic handshake. The Windows client asks the hardware TPM 2.0 to generate the keys. The TPM securely binds the private keys and returns the public keys to the client. The client packages these public keys into a registration request to Azure DRS. Azure DRS executes its validation, creates the device object in the directory, and issues the official device ID and certificate back to the client. The client securely installs the certificate, finalizing the trust relationship. Once you understand the architecture, you need to govern it. In the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, under Device Settings, you hold the keys to the kingdom. First, you dictate who can actually join devices. The users may join devices to Microsoft Entra ID setting allows you to restrict this capability to specific pilot groups or open it to all users. Security is paramount, so we highly recommend enforcing the require multi-factor authentication to register or join devices setting. This ensures an attacker cannot steal a password and immediately join a rogue device to your tenant. Additionally, when a device is Entra joined, you can use the additional local administrators setting to automatically grant your helpdesk staff local admin rights on those endpoints. Lastly, you can cap the maximum number of devices a single user can register to prevent database bloat, which defaults to 50. Here we see the control panel flow. From the Entra Admin Center, we navigate to device settings. The most critical fork is requiring MFA to join. Selecting Yes drives us to a high security posture. We then set our deployment scope using users may join devices. Finally, we configure additional local admins to ensure our helpdesk and IT staff have the necessary elevated privileges on the local machines without needing on-premises group policy. Let's apply this to a highly practical real-world use case, modernizing remote work. Imagine your global enterprise needs to hire and provision laptops for 500 remote workers. The old way meant shipping hardware to central IT, building custom images, performing an on-premises domain join, and relying on brittle VPNs for first-time logins. It's slow and expensive. The new way, you purchase the hardware and ship it directly from the OEM to the end user's house. The user unboxes it, powers it on, and during the Windows out-of-box experience, they simply choose Set up for work or school and enter their Microsoft Entra credentials. This triggers a Microsoft Entra join. Instantly, the device is enrolled in Intune, security policies are pushed down, and the device is evaluated by conditional access. You have achieved zero trust provisioning with zero IT touch. This flow is the holy grail of modern endpoint management. The OEM ships the laptop directly to the user. The user unboxes it at home and hits the OB setup. They authenticate, triggering the Microsoft Entra join. That join seamlessly hands off to Intune MDM enrollment. Intune secures the device, allowing it to pass conditional access policies. The user is productive within minutes, securely tied to your cloud infrastructure without ever touching a corporate network cable. Our final real-world use case deals with operational hygiene, managing stale devices. Over time, devices are lost, stolen, broken, or repeatedly reimaged. If left unchecked, these stale devices clutter your Microsoft Entra directory. This causes duplicate entries that confuse your help desk, impacts sync times, and unnecessarily consumes your tenant quota. To fix this, we leverage a specific property called approximate last sign-in date time. Microsoft Entra ID updates this timestamp when a device authenticates to the cloud. As an administrator, you should implement a routine often via Microsoft Graph PowerShell that queries this timestamp. If a device hasn't checked in for 90 days, you programmatically disable it. After a grace period, you delete it. This automated lifecycle management ensures your directory remains pristine, compliant, and secure. This diagram outlines the automated cleanup lifecycle. We start by querying the device directory. We check the approximate last sign-in date time. If it has been less than our threshold, say 90 days, the device is active and we leave it alone. If it exceeds the threshold, it is identified as stale. We first disable the device via PowerShell to prevent access. We wait a predefined grace period just in case it was a mistake, and finally, we delete the device. This keeps your environment fast, clean, and secure. Thank you for joining this session.